Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Loka sama.
Namaste. Let's chant the mystical syllable Om 3 times. Take a deep breath. Let's try that again. Let's chant the mystical syllable Om 3 times. Welcome to our professional training in somatic emotional clearing, counseling for body workers, and this opportunity for personal growth through transpersonal psychology. This morning, we'll have 3 classes, essentially, 3 modules, 3 focuses from 9:30 to 10:30. Our focus will be at mantra yoga, and then we'll take a 15-minute break. At 10:45, we'll be beginning our work in somatic psychology, and we'll spend about an hour with that. And then at 11:45, I will do the demonstrations, and then or I guess it'll be about 12. At 12, I'll do the demonstrations of the technique and the application of the principles we'll be learning today, and open for more questions and answers. Please, at any time, don't hesitate to ask questions. So we begin with mantra yoga. Mantra comes from the same root as woman or man or mind, the Sanskrit root manas, which means to think, and gets at the very essence of life. And mantra are words of power. They're words in which we can use our mental instrument, our mind, if you may, to focus in terms of the deepest sort of power. So mantra enables you to focus your mind to commune with divinity, commune with your deepest essence. I know of no greater power than the possibility, the privilege, the gift of soul communion, which mantra affords us. So mantra yoga means union with your own divinity, your own inherent divinity, through this, through focusing our mental instrument through thought. And this will be a constant emphasis in the work that we're doing, is soul communion, yoga, union with your own inherent divinity through different techniques. Now, mantra is rooted in sacred sound vibration. You and I, everyone, everything is the product of ultimate intelligence. We personify this great mystery of life and consciousness. And our voice is a microcosm of the quintessence, the highest essence of creation. That our voice is an interdimensional portal that empowers fundamental dynamics of this great and wondrous mystery of creation or manifestation. In the ancient wisdom of India, and India is very special because in most other places in the world, the ancient wisdom has been destroyed by the draconian policies of the church and imperialism, and usually imperialism and the church together, but particularly the church has been very paranoid about other ways of looking at the world, and they've been murdering and burning priests and priestesses, destroying libraries for millennium. And India is one of the few places on earth where the ancient wisdom has been preserved with unparalleled integrity. You go to Egypt and they don't know whether these are tombs or whether these are vehicles of initiation as they view the pyramids, as they try to decipher the hieroglyphics. Fundamental question: are these tombs or are these vehicles of initiation? No one is very sure. But in India, we have a living connection to a culture that some say is older than time itself. There are artifacts, carbon dated, go back 30, 40,000 years easily and beyond. The writings that are dated by the position of the stars that talk about how tough life was during the Ice Age, for example. But in any case, in India, we have a vast tome of writings, and not merely writings, but a living tradition carried on even now. You are joining in this tradition. You are part of this tradition as we ask these fundamental questions of who am I? What is my place in this world? What is my purpose? Questions that have challenged us from the beginning, perhaps. So so in India, often conquered in the last 800 years, they conquered the men, but they didn't conquer the women. And so in every home, this wisdom was taught by mothers to their sons and daughters. They say this wisdom was like the grass under your feet, because it was carried on by the women in every home. You can never get rid of the grass. You can never get rid of the weeds because they're growing everywhere. In any case, we're very fortunate that so in this Sanatana Dharma, Sanatana means eternal. Dharma means a way of practicing life in which we experience its inherent divinity. In the Sanatana Dharma, which is what Indians call their own way of life, we begin with a goddess who sings the world into creation. We understand this world as sung into creation. There's a Vishnu, which means the all-pervasive intelligence, is asleep on a milky ocean, an ocean of possibility, milky ocean of possibility, on a bed of serpents, which one could say could represent time. And he dreams, and in this dream, a lotus appears in his navel, and a four-headed god rises up out of this lotus, Brahma. And this Brahma conceives of a goddess, and she sings this world into creation. So the fundamental quality of manifestation is vibration, is song. And the root vibration is this blessed mystical syllable Om. Om is the sound of the Pranav is the sound of the ground state, is the sound of the breath of life, out of which all other vibration arises. So it is an incredible gift that we can chant this mystical syllable Om, and we can commune with this primordial essence of creative power. So this morning, we're going to begin our journey into mantra yoga by contemplating the goddess Saraswati. In the cosmology of ancient wisdom, the ground state out of which everything arises is called Brahman. And Brahman is an absolute beyond change. And Brahman, though it is beyond any quality, beyond change, beyond, the source, the Godhead, is described as Sat Chit Ananda, being, consciousness, and bliss. Existence, consciousness, intelligence, awareness, presence, and the ecstasy of beingness. Now, the beautiful thing about Brahman is existence is everywhere. And because you exist and you're conscious and you're enjoying this consciousness, it's understood that you are one with Brahman, you are one with the absolute, that there's absolutely no difference between the being of the universe and the being in you, the existence of the universe. In this understanding, consciousness is primary, and everything that exists is an epiphenomena of consciousness. An epiphenomena is something that appears to be something, but is really something else. So all of this appears to be everything that it appears to be, but it's really consciousness. It's really this vast oneness of consciousness, that you appear to be all these things, the world appears to be all these things, but they're really a play of consciousness. That certainly would be something that we'll be focusing on. So Brahman is the absolute, and its expression in time and space, its active expression is called Brahma. And Brahma is an ever-expanding breath of life, an ever-evolving, ever-unfolding breath of life. That everything in this creation, and this whole creation, this vast creation from infinite galaxies to the tiniest nanoparticle, is considered the movement of the life breath of a living universe. And in exactly the same way that this life breath spirals down to every atom of your body, it also spirals out to envelop the far galaxies of the universe, that all totality is one living, breathing, conscious being. Now, I think we can all agree there's only one breath here. There's only one breath here. Can you all get that? We're all breathing the same air. There's only one breath on this earth, and we can talk about how far out in space that breath goes with the solar winds and beyond. So the understanding is that you're not breathing. Breath is breathing you. You're not breathing. Breath is breathing you. The quality of Brahma is an ever-expanding, ever-evolving breath of life. So in every moment, the universe is evolving by expanding this breath of life. And this life is breathing into you and me and everyone and everything. And we are the cutting edge of the unfolding of the creative potency of life. We are the face of the mystery. We are the face of the goddess. There's only one breath here, and breath is unfolding its creative potency, the creative potential of life through everyone and everything. That all life is sacred, that all creation is the face of the mystery, is the cutting edge of the unfolding of the creative potential of the mystery. So this is an ancient understanding of the unity and divinity of all life, and this will be our constant focus. The first image that we focus on in our mantra yoga is the goddess Saraswati. Give me a second here. Yeah. Okay, great. The first image that we focus on is the goddess Saraswati. Saraswati means essence of self, essence of self. Saraswati means essence of self. And Saraswati is the Shakti, the manifest power of Brahma, the masculine principle. In the model of creation of the Sanatana Dharma, there's always a polarity between the subtle, more inward, masculine principle, and the Shakti, the power, the manifest quality of the feminine. So Saraswati is the Shakti, the power, the feminine aspect of Brahma, the breath of life. And Saraswati, which means essence of self, is the creative intelligence whose vehicle is the breath of life. So in each breath, there is a mysterious prana, mysterious life force, which has the capacity to vibrate down to every atom, molecule, cell, and quark of the body, and entrain the body with this great and wondrous mystery of life, this gift of life. Now, in India, these gods and goddesses personify different aspects of this great and wondrous mystery of creation. Indians are truly monotheists. They really understand there's only one being here. There's only one all-pervasive divinity here. In fact, in India, they understand that that this goddess becomes creation. Creation is the self-sacrifice of the goddess, that all creation is sacred. There's nothing material in this manifestation. There's nothing that is not sacred. Everything is sacred. And these different beings that are these different images, are icons, which help us to point out different aspects of the dynamics of this great mystery of life and consciousness, and this appearance within this vast ocean of possibility. So whenever you see an image of a goddess who is playing a veena, the veena, the goddess is personifying, in this case, the breath of life, and the veena that this breath of life is playing is your body. That in each moment, the body is played as a musical instrument by the breath of life. Let's just stop here for a moment. So in each moment, as we breathe, the body is taken through a process of natural and cosmic attunement. Musical instruments have always been made out of guts and hide. So as you breathe, your body, the tissue on a molecular level stretches, first a lengthening, which the molecular fields become attuned with a quality of energy which we call sattva guna. So first as we breathe, there's a lengthening, and as we bring in the potency of the breath and this lengthening of the tissue, it pulls the fields on a molecular level move into a state of soul communion and entrain with the source. Then as we continue to breathe, the tissue expands into what's called Rajas Guna, radiance. Rajas means the glow with excitement. And in Rajas Guna, we attune to the solar force. So the tissue expands. The body is a musical instrument, and the pitch is shifting as the tissue moves from lengthening into the solar attunement. It entrains with the solar force, Rajas, to fire, creative, inspiration. Every spiral of spiritus, the breath of life, radiates into inspiration with the solar force. And then as the diaphragm descends, it drops into attunement with the lunar force of tamas guna. So the word guna, the Sanskrit word guna, which is usually translated as quality, comes from roots, which mean giri, the Indo-European root giri, which means a vortex, a field. So sattva guna is a field on a molecular level that's in communion with the soul, communion with being, the source of life. Rajas, as we breathe again, the tissue on a molecular level expands into inhalation. This mortal coil expands into attunement with the solar force. Rajas Guna, the fire, the power of creation, passion, warmth, power of life, the fire of creation. And then as the diaphragm descends, the field drops into entrainment with the lunar, with what we call the water element, tamas guna, and the crystallization of consciousness in form. So in each moment, the body is a veena, all of nature, and the cosmos is a veena played by the breath of life and taken through a process of cosmic and natural attunement. So that whenever you see a goddess with a veena, this is the instrument, the celestial instrument, the divine instrument, which identifies Saraswati. Now, usually Saraswati is seen riding on a swan. And the swan, which is called Hansa, symbolizes in India, you have these tundra swans, which are flying across India to roost in Africa, flying from the Siberia and the Himalayas, highest Himalayas across India. And these swans fly at like the height of a jumbo jet at 30 to 40,000 feet. And so the swans are understood to represent the highest principle. And the word for swan in Sanskrit is Hansa. And Hansa is a play on the sound of the breath. The most natural mantra is the sound of the breath, so that the swan symbolizes the breath as the Paramahansa, the supreme swan, the supreme principle. So in our understanding, the supreme principle of manifestation is the primacy of the breath and this profound intelligence, the Shakti that is carried on the breath, that this profound intelligence, of creative intelligence, which sustains this manifestation. And again, above the goddess, we're seeing these three gunas, the three qualities, and we're seeing the sage Narada, and they are playing the Veena of manifestation. If you have any questions at this point, please raise your hand and I'll acknowledge you and you can open to any question. But this is our fundamental cosmology. So this morning, we're going to be beginning our journey into mantra yoga by chanting an invocation of the goddess Saraswati. And our basic premise is that as above, so below, that you embody all the gifts, all the powers, all the forces of creation, that you are made in the image of the goddess, that you personified a creation itself and the powers of creation. So everything we're talking about, you already have, and we're talking about cultivating a deeper relationship with your own quality, with your own power, with your own, again, mantra means words of power, words which empower you to cultivate a deeper entrainment, a deeper rapport with your inherent divinity. So these are bija mantras, and bija means seed, and in the same way that a tiny little quanta of semen and ovum have within it the mystery to create human life or to sustain human life, to pass on human life, or the tiniest acorn has within it the mystery to manifest the vast oak. In the same way, these bijas have within them the mystery, the power, the force to create these different dynamics of creation. So the mantra is going to be Om Aim Shrim Harim Saraswati Devi Namaha. Om is the ground state out of which everything manifests, is the sound of the prana. Pra means to go forth, na, the breath. So there's the life force, the life force of the living universe. Its sound is this omkar, which is a pranam, the ground state of all vibration out of which everything emerges, one with the Godhead. So it's an incredible gift to understand, to begin to understand the incredible power that is in this sacred syllable Om, and to be able to chant this Om and invoke our inherent divinity in such a profound way. Aim is the Shakti of Om, is the feminine aspect of Om, is the manifest power of Om in nature, in Prakriti. Shrim is the presence of the goddess. Shrim means to glow with grace, to glow with light, to be illuminated, to be self-illuminated is the quality of the goddess, just a brilliant light of grace and illumination. Hrim is another feminine power. This is the magnetism, the incredible power that lies in a womb to magnetize the forces of the cosmos, to create life, to embody life. So Harim is the magnetic power of the feminine, the attractive power of the feminine, the ability of tamas guna, the ability of the negative field to attract the forces of nature and the cosmos, to bring them into embodiment and manifestation. Saraswati, essence of self, Devi, a being of light, a being of consciousness, and Namaha, to honor, to surrender, to pay obeisance, and to say, all of this is not mine, all of this is thy gift, all of this is thy gift. So our first mantra is invoking these bijas, these powers of Om, Aim, Shrim, Harim, Saraswati, Devi, Namaha. Thoughts or questions? So we're going to be chanting this mantra with a I grew up in New Jersey. Mimi raised her hand. Let me see how I can unmute Mimi here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Oh, hi. I was just curious, what was I'm again after
I'm,
Om?
yeah, I'm is the feminine aspect of Om. So I'm is the Shakti of Om. So I'm is the manifest power of Om. I'm is the power in nature of Om. So
Thank you.
Om is more internal and I'm is more manifest and in a sense more physical, more material. Great question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions? It's a little different cosmology than you're used to. It's very familiar to me. I hope I don't run through it too quickly for you, but we'll be playing with these same ideas over and over again through the next 6 weeks. So let's, you want to sit with your back, your spine straight, and sit with your spine straight, and we'll take a deep breath. And as I began to say, my Sanskrit leaves a lot to be desired. And so we're going to be chanting with Karunama, Mother of Compassion, an Indian saint.
Saraswati Devi Namaha. सरस्वती देव्यै नमः। ॐ ऐं श्रीं ह्रीं 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 सरस्वती देव्यै नमः।
Let's close our eyes, turn within, and commune with the coherence we've been cultivating through this practice. It's valuable to understand that when we're chanting, which is called Devani, the language of the gods, also called the perfected language, is a psychoactive language that the syllables of the Sanskrit alphabet represent all of the sounds that we're capable of making. When you learn Sanskrit, you learn to use your palate, your tongue, your teeth, just every element, your throat, to make these sounds accurately. And I think even as ignorant as we are, we can experience, like as we go, I'm do that for a moment and feel the sound resonating into the sphenoid sutures, into the sinuses, this highest vibrational environment in your body where the prana comes in. So I'm Shrim. So when we chant these sounds out loud, it creates resonances in the cranial sutures, in the sphenoid sutures, and in the cranial sutures, and in the fluid medium, in the cerebral spinal fluid, that create coherence and entrain us with the higher dimensions, with the source. So there's a very physical science here that you can experience. So you want to chant loud and really feel that. Sometimes if you listen to a Brahmin chanting, it gets very, very nasal because they've been taught and they are really activating these sinuses to create a level of coherence and an alignment on a molecular level in the cerebral spinal fluid, which then becomes a vehicle for communing with higher dimensions, more subtle dimensions of consciousness. The more coherent the field, it potentizes the field, and the inner powers of the field are able to radiate out. So we're talking about infinite dimensions of consciousness here. And the more pure, the more coherent, the more we potentize the field and receive the powers of the subtle dimensions. So in chanting, we want to emphasize these like Om, Shrim, Hrim. Secondly, in most chanting, there's a level of call and response. There's a level of working with sound and also working with the polarity of a sound, which is stillness. So that you'll notice in our rhythm, Karunama chants, which we and then there is a musical interlude. In that musical interlude, you're invited to go within and to commune with the silence, to commune with the stillness, to commune with the gifts from the silent coherence that you've cultivated. That coherence is in training with these ultrasonic forces, and in this silence, and with your attention, with your consciousness, with your presence, you're able to tune into these higher forces, higher dimensions of consciousness. Part of our emphasis is that consciousness is one. A few moments ago, I mentioned that there's only one breath here. That there's only one life, that life is universal, that life breath is universal. And this life breath is a vehicle for consciousness, for presence, for this divine creative intelligence. And it's important to realize that it's the same breath and it's the same presence in all of us, that this life itself is unborn, undying, everywhere, always, eternal, forever and ever, that you and I and everyone and everything exist in two dimensions, that the life in us is outside of time, space, and causality, that the presence, the cognizance, the intelligence in us is unborn, undying, everywhere, always, forever and ever and ever. So in the silence, we commune with the presence. We focus the presence. We focus on that which is beyond the known, beyond the unknown, beyond manifestation. And yet here it is, right here, as the source of your very own cognizance. So that is just beyond. We all participate in this mystery, and it's so available to us. So in this chanting, which is this primary method of soul communion, whether you're a Catholic or a Buddhist or a Hindu, you have your rosary, you have your mantra, whether you're a Muslim, that a good part, traditionally a good part of your day was spent in soul communion with this mantra. And mantra as in our first teaching from that little boy. That little boy says, remember and feel the mystery right now, while the mystery itself is ineffable, beyond what can be known, beyond the unknown. We can feel the mystery. We can feel where we're in soul communion. We can feel when we're connected to being. Another one of these great gifts of life. I'm assuming that you're here because you've been getting my newsletters. And in the newsletters, I emphasize our natural state, which is a great fullness. Great fullness is our natural state. And I talk about how every atom of the body is potentially a well to being. And that when we are in communion with our divinity, when we're in yoga, we're in our natural state of feeling wonderful, filled with the wonder of this gift of life, feeling grateful, filled with the greatness of life. And that what we're seeking is not terribly far away. It's our natural state of gratefulness. That when we're healthy, we're in a state of gratefulness. When we're in service, when we become part of this great gift of life and give of ourselves, we experience this gratefulness. That when we realize how deeply we love life and how when we're in Ananda, the bliss of remembering, the bliss of feeling the mystery, we're in this ecstasy of divine love, which is our natural state, yoga through love and devotion. And then we're talking about the yoga through knowledge. That I hope that by contemplating this mystery this morning with all of you, you're getting high. You're feeling just filled with wonder and greatness by contemplating the wonder and the greatness that everyone and everything is, the incredible gift, because we are the product of ultimate intelligence. This world is the self-sacrifice of the goddess. She loved us so profoundly that she threw herself into the mystery of the creation. She threw herself totally into the fire of creation. She lives within you as you. Thoughts or questions? Now I want to mention that I did not grow up in India. I don't speak any of the languages. I've been very lazy that way. And so I come to this culture as an outsider, and anything I'm sharing with you is I'm sharing it against a vast horizon of ignorance, profound ignorance that the cosmology of India, the way of life of India is incredibly, incredibly deep and rich. And I know very, very, very little about it. It's just, it promises the total, the final, the complete, the permanent annihilation of suffering. I knew that I was in tremendous pain and fear, self-hatred, inadequacy, shame, anxiety. And as a desperate person, I was guided to India in my early 30s. And that desperation was my ally. I just searched and teachers, and teachings, and fortunately over the years was able to elevate my consciousness to a place of constant communion. And so now I've been liberated from that self-hatred and that terror and that fear and that moment-to-moment abyss. And I can so that in Sankhya, they point out that the purpose of this knowledge is not the love of learning like European philosophy. It's not to get a better job like we do today, unless you'd like to become a yoga instructor. But that the purpose of this knowledge is the annihilation of suffering, that yoga, a union with yourself, this whole journey of self-realization, this moment-to-moment journey into the present, promises the total, the final, the complete, the permanent annihilation of your suffering. Whatever anxiety, fear, terror, self-hatred, guilt, shame, trauma you're living with, this is all an ally to motivate you, to propel you into a state of constant communion. And a promise that's been fulfilled and demonstrated over thousands and thousands of years. So we invite you to make this practice, chanting the invoking your own goddess. Make this practice your own. It becomes powerful as you invest your consciousness in it. So we're going to take a 15-minute break now and come back at 10:45. I have 3 minutes if anyone has a question. Just raise your hand. Otherwise, we'll take a 15-minute break and we'll come back at 10:45. Thank you so much for your focus and attention. I hope you're finding this valuable.
Loka Samasta Sukino